shadows unfold on the tableless expanse. Miniature warriors in a strategic dance. 15 millimeters of intricate design. A world conflict in a scaled down line. Terrain crafted with precision and care. Armies maneuver under watchful glare. Dice roll to decide the fate of the day. Strategies clash in a tactic.
Hello again, everybody. This is Derek, and I'm coming back at you with another hardware or what I like to call peripheral video. And in this video, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be installing this new 5070 Ti by Gigabyte. Based on the research that I've done, it looks like the Gigabyte 5070 Ti has the best benchmarks compared to some of the other manufacturers' 5070 Ti's. So I went ahead and I ordered this from Newegg. I got this in today, and now I'm going through the trouble of installing it and trying to see if we can get it up and running, and then I can tell you a little bit about it. But just to let you know, this is my monster right here. This thing probably weighs 100 pounds. I mean, it is freaking heavy. I think I broke my back trying to get it over here onto this table. I got it onto this table because I knew I wanted to do the installation in a nice sized clean area and not over on my computer desk, which is cluttered with monitors, joysticks, mice, keyboards, all that kind of stuff, and webcams. Because right now I am not. You might notice a quality difference, and also you probably notice a sound difference. This is my Handycam, my Canon. It's not a webcam. It's a camcorder, and I've got it mounted on my tripod. We're going to record everything on this Handycam, and then I'm going to bring the computer. Once it's all installed and everything's put together, I'm going to bring it over to my computer desk, plug everything in, and see if it works. See if I need anything extra that needs to be done, or if I need to just pull all my hair out, which I don't have any, so I'm good on that account. Okay, so enough jokes. Let's start talking about this Gigabyte 5070. I just want to tell you a little bit about it real quick. The 50 series is the current series of graphics cards. I currently have a 1070 in my monster right here. This 5070 Ti, it's a huge difference. It's going to have ray tracing, DLSS 4. It says reflex and studio. I don't care about that. It has the wind force. My graphics card should have the wind force as well. Here, let's take a look at it. It's got 3 fans on the back. It's got 3 DisplayPort and 1 HDMI, which I hope my monitors are compatible with that. If not, we'll worry about it. I don't remember what cables they are, but I do think that I've got 2 DPI or 2 DisplayPort and 1 HDMI plugged in over there. But with this, I could get 3 DisplayPorts. It talks about AI, enhanced graphics, and the GPU being the 9th generation GPU and all that. That's great. That's just your standard RTX 5070 Ti. But I want to talk to you a little bit about the Gigabyte version. Okay, so you should be able to see the entire length of this ATX case. This is the graphics card. Look how big that is. I don't know if you can see, but that's going to be very big. This thing right here alone probably weighs 10 pounds. It weighs a lot. It's not completely out of the bag, but you can see the 3 fans. It took me a while. I did already open this up. I didn't pull it out, but I've already opened it up and kind of looked through the bag, trying to identify where the power was. It took me a long time to identify this small little plug is the power. And we'll get closer and stuff while I'm doing installation for you to actually see this graphics card. But that's not what I wanted to share. It comes with this power cable, and I was thinking that this end would go into the graphics card, right? This 16 pins, and then this side would go into my modular power supply. And I was being crazy about it, thinking this was way too short. But what this is, it's called, I don't know what it's called, but it's a power adapter, right? Yeah, so I take this small little plug and I plug it into my graphics card, and then I take 2 of my power cables from the power supply and plug them into these. So it draws double the power into a smaller plug. And this was kind of unique for me anyway. It has a little booklet that explains how to physically install a graphics card. Inside there's a couple of, there's actually 2 booklets, and the second one talks about the bracket. There's an actual bracket that is included with this graphics card, because I was not expecting this. I'm going to be super honest with you. Well, that's where the graphics card was. But there is this bracket on the side, which we are going to use today. But this bracket, I had no idea they were going to include that. That is pretty cool. Okay, so it basically applies, it screws into the end of the graphics card. It has a leg to stand on, basically. Because if this thing is 10 pounds, and if it's plugged sideways like this into my computer, it's only going to be screwed in on the back side, but the front side will now have a leg that goes down and rests, so the graphics card won't pull or stress the motherboard. Okay, so this is what we're going to do. I'm going to, there's going to be a time jump, because I'm going to open the computer and I'm going to clean out any of the dust or dirt that might have been collected over the years. I'm going to see if I need to do any cable management, get anything out of the way, and then once it's ready, I'll probably take the 1070 out as well. And once I've done that and everything's ready for the installation, then I'll come back and we'll continue the video. Okay, I'll see you in just a second. Alright, I'm back. It didn't really have to clean too much of it out. I mean, it's still probably a little bit dusty. I probably could do a better job of cleaning it out. But I cleaned it out pretty good. Cleaned the fans. They're starting to get a little bit of dust on them. Power cables. I'm using a soft bristle brush here. It's very, very soft to do most of the cleaning. But then I used a little bit of the hand wipes, but I used where they had a little moisture on them to grip the dust. Everything seems to be in place, looking good. I didn't know if I had another slot for an NVMe, but I do. But I noticed this one is the one I have in here, and it is a shorter version than this one. This one looks like it's really long. I don't know the difference. Or maybe, because there's like 3 screws here, maybe I could take this screw and move it there and make it a short one. That's probably what that's for. Okay, but it doesn't really matter because one of my next upgrades is going to be the motherboard and the processor and the liquid cooler and the memory. But right now, this is what we're going to be using. Okay. Anytime I pause, I can always edit. Okay, we're just going to open this package up. See, I don't know if you guys can see what I'm doing, but I looked at my power cables that I already have plugged in. This is what was plugged into my last monitor, graphics card, but it has a second half to it right here. And let's see if we can't get all of these plugged into this. There we go. So I got all 8 pins plugged into there. Okay, so I got all of those plugged in. So when I get the graphics card plugged in, this should plug into the graphics card. Alright, so what we've done is we've taken the graphics card out, and because I have to redo it, the reason why is I can't get the bracket onto the graphics card while it is mounted. There are these 3 screw holes here. Now when this goes in, there's going to be a slide bracket here that I'm going to mount, and it's going to be right where I want it to be. Oh my gosh, I wasn't recording that. Okay, I must have paused the video. So let me just go over what I did so that you'll get a chance to see it. The hardware necessary to put the bracket on is included with the graphics card. You get a separate little foot. You get 2 bars, one long, one short. This is the long one. You get a bracket, plus you get the hardware to screw everything into place. You've got a couple of different positions to put the bracket on. There are 3 holes on the side of the graphics card to put your bracket. I put it on the one furthest from the pins to give it the best support, in my opinion. Okay. So let's reinsert this card yet again. Now that the bracket is on. Got to get this power cable over. There we go. Okay, it's snapped in. We're going to put these 2 screws on the back side. Alright, I think the card is snapped in. I think it's screwed in tight over here. Now I just got to figure out how I'm going to do the bracket. Alright, now we need, whoops, in my yep. Now we need to attach the power to this spot right here. It looks like it's going to go in like that. Okay. It made a big deal in the book about it being in all the way. Yeah, it looks like it's fully seated. Okay, it looks like I'm going to be able to close the back. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to seal it up, take it over to my computer. I'm sorry, take it over to my computer desk, boot it up, and see if it works. Alright, I'll see you in just a few moments. Alright guys, we are back. I've got the card installed. Everything else is back plugged into the computer and powered it on. Everything seems to be working just fine. This is actually a day later. I spent some time playing Star Citizen even. And I was getting pretty good FPS compared to my 1070. But what I'd like to do is run a couple of benchmarks, and I'm using 3D Mark as a benchmark just to get me like what kind of FPS I'm going to get. Now there's Solar Bay Extreme, and then there's Solar Bay. This says ray tracing test for lightweight devices, and this says heavy ray tracing test for lightweight devices. Benchmark for gaming PCs, DirectX 12 benchmark for gaming PCs. So I don't have all of them because I'm only running the demo. But let's go ahead and do the Solar Bay Extreme. We're going to do the Steel Nomad, Solar Bay Extreme, Time Spy, Firestrike. Now this says integrated graphics. we don't have integrated graphics, uh, and I don't have like a CPU test. But that's okay. Let's go ahead and I'm going to start with Solar Bay Extreme. And this is all going to be, you can see right here, it's got the 7050 rendering API. Can I change that? I can change it to Vulkan. Really? Let's put DirectX. I don't know. Maybe we'll do it both ways. And then I'll be able to compare the results between DirectX 12. It uses 1440 rendering. Perfect. That is perfect. Let's do it. Should go full screen, I would think. This is not edited, so you can see how long it took. There we go. Loading. There's going to be a lot of reflective mirrors. And if you look in the bottom center, you're getting a frame rate. FPS is high. That's like 170. And this is also while recording using OBS. That's all I've got running is 3D Mark and OBS. Oh, it's showing the backside of it. And all these people walking around with reflective helmets. The shadows. This looks really good in my opinion. I don't know what you guys think. But I'm getting like 170 FPS seems to be fairly common. Okay, 178 FPS is what it's saying. And look at the Solar Bay Extreme score. My score is 25,576, but the average score is 26,955. So it's not too bad if you look at how far across that green bar is. Okay, so 178. Let's try it again, but this time let's try Vulkan. Because I'm personally curious. Mainly because some games out there you can choose between DirectX or Vulkan. Unfortunately, Star Citizen uses DirectX 11 and a beta version of Vulkan. So it's not going to be perfect comparison, but what happened to my recording? Okay, we're going to stop. Something happened to the recording. I'm going to take it off of center display. All right, so I'm going to rerun this now that I have. Okay, what happens if I go up with this? Okay, so we've got a center screen capture, but I also needed to have the an error occurred. Yeah, we're going to close all that. That's because I stopped it halfway through. Okay, Solar Bay Extreme, Vulkan, but now I'm uh, now I'm actually capturing an application. So let's see if that fixes it. Okay, well it captured this normally, but let's see if it nope. Let's exit that. Can I? I can't click on anything. I'm trying to exit it. Maybe when it starts I'll exit it. Yeah, it goes to a black screen. Okay, there we go. That's going to work. There was something about enabling sound. I saw enabling sound somewhere. Enable sound. Not available with the demo. Crap. All right. We got it set up. I'm going to be able to capture this now. Let's go ahead and run it using Vulkan. Here we got the mirrors. Look at the FPS. It's in the 90s, 195. So Vulkan is way better than DirectX 12. Well, at least it performs better with Vulkan. Let's rephrase that. They're bringing all these mirrors, and you can actually see the reflections. Nope, it dropped down to 170. Okay. Got to see the end result. Maybe just the beginning was 190. Well, there's 180s. Okay. And this was the extreme benchmark test. Okay, it says 182, so that's a little bit better. And then right there it has legendary. It doesn't have anything to compare it against. Okay. That was ray tracing. Now let's look at Steel Nomad. It's got DirectX 12 and Vulkan as well. Now, I ran a couple of stress tests earlier and before I got online. And Steel Nomad had a much lower FPS. Maybe because of the draw distance. Yeah, you can see it's at 65. Got the smoke. shadows, plants are moving. See the draw distances so far. Lots of moving actors. Okay, so that must be a bounty hunter terminal, and then he saw his own name pop up. Okay, I got it now. Let's see what the results are. Probably in the 70s. 6460. But when compared to the average, you can kind of see that it's not doing too bad. It's way over the. I'm looking at this bar up here. It's doing really good. Um, but we're gonna try that again with Vulkan. What are we looking at? About the same, pretty close to the same. Maybe a little bit higher. I don't know. It's hard to tell. Is he harvesting those balls or is he drawing power from those balls to recharge his bike? It looks like the power is going towards the ball. I don't get so invested in a benchmark program. Okay, Vulcan did a little, about the same, right? Yeah. Okay. Okay, this is a benchmark for gaming PCs. It says DirectX 12 benchmark. So no matter what, it's going to be DirectX 12. Now, I think Time Spy is a classic. I think this is the one that I ran like 5 years ago. I'm sure they upgraded it or updated it. Now, I don't know if my computer has DirectX 12. I guess I can pull that up and check. Hey, we're getting audio. Audio is like extremely loud. Everything seems to be running very smoothly. Oh, that's not just a window, that's actually a portal into the past. Now, what did jumping accomplish? Okay, so there was a lot of reflections on that crystal and the crystalline creatures and stuff. She went in specifically for that pistol, maybe? Okay, there we go. Now we got some results at the bottom. Well, or it's not finished. Or it was just gathering the information so that now it can display it. We're at 120 FPS. Yeah, this is all different angles. Okay, that hand tool just disappeared. Okay, what is this? Graphics test 2. Okay. One 20-ish. Okay. See, that still looks really good. Aliens. Wonder if that's supposed to be a space station. I don't know, the lens flares. I'm not sure if I like it. Galax. CPU test. Okay, here we go. It's going to test my CPU. Should have ran this test a long time ago. Okay, so it's doing things that might put a strain on the CPU versus the GPU, I'm kind of guessing. So look at my frames down. I'm at 23. Yeah, this tells me that my next upgrade has got to be a CPU. I know that. I got an i7 9700K. Is that a result? Still pretty decent, actually. My CPU score is kind of low, it looks like. GPU, yeah, see the CPU is the i7 9700K. Detailed scores, that's just the numbers. Okay, 22 frames from the CPU, but hundreds of frames from the graphics card. Okay, well, I hope that explains how good this graphics card is. This is something that I've kind of toyed around in my head because when I was playing Star Citizen, I was running the NVIDIA system monitor, and it shows the FPS, but I also selected the GPU usage and the CPU usage. Now, prior to installing this 5070 Ti, I was getting a very high GPU utilization, like 80-90%. And I was getting low CPU, specifically with the Vulkan. I was getting like 40% utilization. But when I installed this new card, the 5070 Ti, the GPU had a remarkable drop. It's down to like 37%, a really good score. But the CPU jumped to 80 to 90. I did a little research, and it says you want them both to be around 80 or 90%, because that means they're both being utilized for all their features and all their capabilities. But when one is down, like in this case, the GPU, it means the CPU is not providing it with enough data to be useful. So it's basically being at my bottleneck is my CPU right now, the i7 9700K. But I was still getting around 60 FPS in Star Citizen. In my opinion, that is outstanding for me. I've always been floating around 25 to 35, and having a score in the 60s, I was like very, very happy with that. I tried installing the Vulkan shaders in Star Citizen, and when I did, I started to receive stuttering. Like I would walk a bit, jerk, walk a little bit, jerk, walk a little bit, jerk. But when I switched it back to DirectX 11, it was smooth. So for now, I think I'm going to keep it on DirectX 11 unless they do a big Vulkan update. All right, guys. Well, thanks for coming out and checking this video out, and I will see you in the next one.